When's the last time you had cheese that was powdered? Especially in macaroni and cheese. I mean, what, you want to feed that to people? There's like preservatives in here and stuff. Ugh. You want a macaroni and cheese that can like feed your family? You could take to a cookout and people actually enjoy it and it's legit? We got you. Step into my office. Welcome back to My Man Cooks. I'm going to be fair. So we're going to make boxed macaroni and cheese and we're going to stack it up against ours, right? It's kind of fair, but not really, because ours is going to have bacon, it's going to have breadcrumbs and stuff like that, but it is going to be legit. So the first thing you want to do, get your bacon ready. This is peppered bacon, okay, thick cut. It's going to go into our oven at 380 degrees, and we're going to keep checking it. We might have to flip it and everything like that, but usually about 15 minutes. Boxed mac and cheese. We're going to stack this up against ours. So what we have going on here is we have 32 ounces of our macaroni. I'm using cavatappi. Okay, it's more interesting than elbows. You can use basically whatever you want. You could use penne, you can use elbows, shells, whatever you want. Next to that, to the right, we have 32 ounces of cheese. I have a Chipotle Gouda in there. I have a smoked cheddar, and I have a white beer cheddar. And that's all going to come into play later. We've got some 8 cups of whole milk. I have 2 teaspoons of hot sauce, 2 teaspoons of salt, 4 cloves of garlic, 2 teaspoons of actual onion with a little bit of onion powder in there mixed in. I've got some green onion, some parsley. That's going to kind of garnish everything. We have 12 tablespoons of all-purpose flour, 12 tablespoons of butter, and we've got our panko that's going to go on top and make everything glorious. Our pasta water is heating up. I don't want it to boil just yet, but what I do want to do is I want to heavily season it with some coarse salt. That's going to help deliver a little bit of flavor from our pasta into our mac and cheese. And we don't want to anger the Italians. So I want this to get pretty close to boiling so I can throw my pasta in, which if you follow the directions on your pasta could take 8 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. But I don't want to start any of that until my bacon is done, because I need my bacon to cool off so I can chop it up. Then what we're doing is we're going to make a roux that's going to be the base for our cheese sauce for our macaroni. I don't want either one of these sitting too long, so I'm going to finish them right around the same time. So our water's almost to a boil. We're going to add our pasta. So our pasta's finished cooking. We want it just undercooked because this whole thing's going in the oven. Now what I want to try to do is I want to try to get a cup of our pasta water. Because what that's going to do is, if our cheese sauce is too thick, we can add some. If it's too thin, we can always add flour, cheese, whatever. But we want to reserve some of our pasta water. Now on to the most important part. Our pasta is slightly undercooked by a couple of minutes, like less than al dente. By the way, al dente means to the tooth, like it's got a little bit of bite in it. But now we're going to start working on our roux. Here is our unsalted butter. That goes in. Now, I'm choosing to do things a little bit differently. I'm going to throw in the 4 cloves of garlic that I planed or zested. That goes in there. We have our onion with our onion powder. Both best of both worlds. We have our salt. We have our hot sauce. Hot sauce of your choice. For me, there's only one, but I can't tell you. And what we do is we mix this together, and when the butter is totally melted and everything's basically incorporated, then we're going to start adding our flour and whisking things together. Now we're going to gently whisk in our flour. Try to add a little bit at a time. It's kind of tricky, but we don't want it to be clumpy. We want it to be smooth. So we're going to whisk it until it's smooth, and it's going to make almost like a paste. And once we achieve a smooth paste, then we're going to start adding our milk. You only really want to cook this for about 45 seconds, just enough to get the raw off of the flour. Alright, so we are vigorously mixing this, allowing heat to get to it and everything like that, cooking the raw off, and now we go to our whole milk. Okay? And we want to gently add it and whisk it into our roux. So once it gets like to that, we're just going to keep adding, whisking it all in, making sure everything gets well incorporated and mixed. And eventually we'll get to the point where we add it all. And we whisk it until it is smooth. And then we can start adding our cheese for our cheese sauce. Alright, so our roux and our milk has come up to temp, so we can start adding some of our cheese mixture, and we're just going to keep whisking and adding until this gets to a consistency that we like, or thickness that we like, but we want it to be a smooth consistency. So we're just going to keep whisking, and we're just going to keep adding. Make sure we get all of our different types of cheese in there. Again, we've got a Chipotle Gouda. We have a white beer cheddar, and we have a smoked cheddar. And you can already feel it's getting a little bit thicker. We're just going to keep on adding. Just keep adding it. And once you add some, make sure you get a smooth consistency out of it. And once you achieve that, add more until you've added the equivalent of your ounce of cheese to your ounce of pasta. Alright, so once your cheese sauce is relatively thick, we are going to start adding our pasta. And we're going to mix it all in there. And remember, this is just slightly undercooked pasta. Because it's going to end up going in the oven. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually kill the heat on the stove while I'm adding my pasta. And we've got more to add. Would you just look at this for a second? Nothing in a box will even come close to comparing to this. And we're not even done yet. So one thing I'm going to add is a little bit of green onion. I'm going to mix that in there really good. once, if you don't want to do the green onion or anything like that, you can stop right here and you can throw it in your baking pan. But I'm just putting it in there for a little added flavor, a little added texture, right? And the other thing I'm doing is I'm adding bacon that I've finely chopped. So we're just mixing everything together. Once everything is together, we're going to add this to our baking pan. Takes a little bit of elbow grease. And if you don't have as many people, cut the recipe in half or quarter it even. And you can make it for, you know, just a few people, a side dish, this, that, and the other. But if you want to, you could even make this for the main course and throw something healthy in there, would you? We got bacon and everything in here. Just have a salad. Have a salad with it. So the water that we set aside, the pasta water, in case it was too thick or anything like that, turned out we didn't even need it at all. So what I do have here is, before we throw this in the oven, I have some panko, but not just any panko. This is pork panko, which basically it's pulverized pork rinds. And it adds a little bit different flavor and texture. So I'm just going to sprinkle this on top. And it goes with, I mean, we got bacon in there, might as well use the pork panko, right? Not too much, just enough to get a little bit of a crust up there. I never said this was going to be a healthy recipe, okay? This is one of those things where nobody eats healthy at a cookout. You know, it's always burgers, hot dogs, some sort of pasta salad, potato salad, and then you can bring this. And I guarantee you, this is what they'll be talking about. Into the oven until golden brown on top. So 15 minutes at 380 degrees Fahrenheit. This is what we get. We have these little crispy bits. Oh my goodness. I'm just going to kind of come in here. Oh, it's still creamy and everything. Look at that. Look at that. Mac and cheese. Oh my goodness. This is comfort food. Now, this, for us this evening, is going to be our main dish, and we are going to have salad with this. But you can also save this for leftovers, saving you money. Now, we go like this. Just a little bit of parsley. What do you think of that? Here we have our mac and cheese against the box mac and cheese. To be fair, we put parsley on both of them. Okay. Now it's time to do the taste test. It's familiar, but it doesn't really taste like cheese, in my opinion, and now ours. And look at the difference. There's just cheese sauce in there. There's a little bit of bacon, some panko, a little bit of parsley, maybe a little bit of green onion. That is macaroni and cheese. That is so much better. I can't even begin to tell you how much better it is. They don't even taste like they're the same thing. And they're not. I mean, there's like xanthan gum and stuff like that in the box stuff. I mean, this is something you're going to come back to for leftovers and lunch and everything like that. And I mean, this is so much better than any other mac and cheese you're ever going to get out of a box. I promise you that. And tailor it to how you want it. You want it spicier, add a little bit more hot sauce. You want it saltier, add more salt. You don't want the panko on there, don't do the panko. Don't do the bacon. Do you. You can make this however you want. There's so many things that you can do to this to elevate it however you want to. You don't have to throw the bacon in there. You don't have to throw the panko on top or anything like that. But I'm just telling you that it adds so much to the macaroni and cheese. And this was requested by one of our TikTok followers that we got from the low lockdown Crown Apple Steak. So here's the mac and cheese. I hope you like it. I hope you try it. Thanks for coming into my kitchen. I appreciate you. I'll see you in the next video.